Welcome to the Compliance Officer's Playbook podcast. If your job feels less like compliance management and more like playing three-dimensional chess with constantly changing European and UK digital legislation, you're absolutely in the right place.
You really are. We're diving deep into the massive and frankly rapidly escalating regulatory complexity facing every firm operating in or with Europe today.
Right.
Our core mission is to examine the growing friction points. The places where foundational laws like the GDPR are slamming head-on into this new world order represented by the EU AI Act and, all its siblings.
And to do that, we're pulling together a stack of sources detailing everything from recent high-stakes enforcement realities, specifically those headline-grabbing Spanish fines, to the policy analyses that dissect exactly where the AI Act is structurally clashing with cybersecurity, data governance, and all those cross-border transfer requirements.
Exactly. The goal isn't just to catalog the laws, it's to build you a strategic playbook, helping you understand the real financial risks and navigate the unavoidable regulatory pileup that's coming over the next few years.
Okay, let's unpack this.
So, to really get a handle on the future challenges of the AI Act, we first have to ground ourselves in the current financial reality of data protection under the GDPR.
Right, where the money is.
Where the money is. Recital 148 is the key starting point here. It makes the mandate crystal clear. Any fine has to be effective, proportionate, and most importantly, dissuasive.
And when they say dissuasive, they've really backed it up with numbers that make global CFOs sweat. Non-compliance is structured into two tiers, right?
That's right. Tier 1, for the less severe violations, you're looking at fines up to 10 million euros or 2% of your total global annual turnover from the preceding fiscal year.
Whichever is higher.
Whichever is higher. But the real danger, the one that everyone is worried about, lies in Tier 2.
And that's for the really severe stuff.
Exactly. If you commit an especially severe violation, think major breaches of core principles like lawfulness, integrity, security, that ceiling just doubles. We're talking about potential fines up to 20 million euros or a full 4% of total global turnover.
Now, here's the detail from the legal analysis that I think often catches multinational groups completely off guard. It's the thing that turns a local compliance slip-up into a global financial crisis. It's the definition of undertaking.
Precisely. The GDPR defines undertaking by referencing the term used in the treaty on the functioning of the European Union, specifically from the case law on Articles 101 and 102.
And what does that mean in practice?
It means that the European Court of Justice has established that undertaking refers to the entire economic unit.
The entire unit. So if a single subsidiary in, say, Spain commits a data breach, the fine isn't just based on that Spanish subsidiary's revenue.
Not at all. It's based on the combined worldwide annual turnover of the entire corporate group. The parent company, all the subsidiaries, they're seen as a single actor.
So they're all in it together, whether they like it or not.
That's the view. The ECJ believes the parent company and its subsidiaries are, essentially a single player in the market. This is how you see fines reaching into the hundreds of millions for big tech or financial groups, no matter where the actual incident happened.
But doesn't that risk making the fine disproportionate for what could be a very localized failure? How do they justify that?
The rationale is all about effective deterrence. The thinking is that only by hitting the entire global revenue stream can a fine truly be dissuasive for these large, complex organizations. It forces compliance to be a priority at the group level, not just something managed locally.
That makes perfect and terrifying sense. So how are firms actually getting caught? It's not just regulators knocking on doors, is it?
No, while authority inspections definitely happen, the sources of investigation are much broader. We see a huge number of them coming from complaints, often from unsatisfied employees or, disgruntled customers.
And I imagine self-reporting is a factor too.
A big one. Self-denunciation, where a firm reports its own breach, is common. And then there's the rise of investigative journalism exposing systemic bad practices.
To ground this in what's happening right now, we have the latest figures from the Spanish Data Protection Agency, the AEPD, for fiscal year 2024. They are clearly leading the charge in Europe.
Oh, absolutely. They hit a record high total fine value. 35.5 million euros. That's almost a 20% jump over the previous year.
But the really crucial insight here, I think, is the shift in their strategy. They actually issued fewer sanctions overall, only 281 fines.
Wait, so fewer cases, but a much higher total penalty. That signals a massive shift in focus, doesn't it?
It's a tectonic shift. The AEPD is not chasing minor administrative mistakes anymore. They are laser-focused on high-impact, complex breaches.
And the numbers back that up. The average fine soared by 57%, hitting about 127,000 euros. They're going after breaches that compromise confidentiality, integrity, and security, the hardest compliance nuts to crack.
The case examples really drive this home. We saw a €5 million fine against a major energy company, and it wasn't for a simple data leak, but for a fundamental breach of fairness and transparency in a fraudulent procurement process.
So it's about data integrity at its core.
Exactly. And then another big one, €4 million, hit an insurance provider because of inadequate security that a cybercriminal exploited. The regulator is drawing a very direct line between security failure and severe financial penalty.
And this scrutiny isn't spread evenly across the economy, is it?
Not at all. The AEPD report shows a heavy concentration in high-risk sectors. Energy and water accounted for a massive 33% of the total fine value.
Followed by finance and banking, I assume.
You got it. Finance and banking at 15% and internet services at 13%. That's clearly where their resources are going.
And looking ahead, the AEPD is signaling its future focus will be, well, intensely on AI regulation alignment, especially around biometric data. We saw this with the WorldCoin suspension, and just managing the sheer volume of personal data breaches, which alarmingly jumped 46% in 2024.
Which brings us perfectly to the next challenge.
If you're loving this conversation and want to be part of keeping it going, the best way to support the show is to become a paid subscriber on Apple Podcasts. You'll get access to the full episode, plus every deep dive we do. Head to Apple Podcasts, search Compliance Officer's Playbook, and join our growing community today. Invite listeners who love this show to become a paid subscriber today for $5 USD, and get full access to all premium episodes packed with insights, stories, and value they won't find anywhere else. Thank you for joining us on the Deep Dive.